there, dear friends, What Culture of Wrestling's Adam Clery here, and welcome back to another episode of what I'm now calling Why Are Only 800,000 People Watching the Best 2 Hours of Wrestling Television on a Wednesday Night? Oh wait, I suppose it could be worse. But long-term viewers will know that we are not about the ratings patter here, we are about the action, we're about the intensity, we're about the drama, we are about NXT, and we go through the show, we give the good bits and up, the bad bits are down, and the bits that are neither good nor bad, well, they get neither up nor down. But it is, ratings patter aside, an interesting week for NXT because of the ratings patter, because for the first time they have usurped AEW in the ratings war. All of a sudden the attention is on them to make sure the product is consistent and good. Like in the past it was just, well, they do whatever they want, couldn't they? Because everyone was watching AEW, whatever happens on NXT is a bonus for WWE, but now that's what happens when you're the king. People come for you. So Survivor Series now a distant memory. Takeover War Games even further behind in the rearview mirror, and nothing on the horizon in terms of a pay-per-view this year, or for the foreseeable future. I don't even have a watch on. Shall we see what they got up to? Yes, we shall, because yes. So without further ado, my name is Adam Clery. Please address all complaints to Phil for still not having finished my introduction video, and these are all the ups and downs for this week's episode of NXT. And just quickly before we start, up. Right, so straight on with the show, and on the balcony of banter, the plinth of destiny, whatever we're calling that thing where Regal normally stands and goes, War Games, is Mauro Ranallo, and it's really good to see him back. I'm giving that an up. Not going to get into the whole thing with the whole Ranallo thing and the Graves thing and him missing last week. It's just a big old mess. It's just nice to see him back. Whatever you think of his commentary, it's nice that he's doing better. But no sooner had he begun his introduction did Killian Dane just sort of walk across the background and interrupt him. And here is the shot that they did for that. And, right, was it just me, or did anybody else see this and think of this? Right, and I'm going to skip over the fact that they were advertising Killian Dane versus Damien Priest despite clearly knowing that Priest was going to be injured and not make it. Oops, that's quite naughty. And Dane called out anyone in the NXT locker room to come down to the ring and face him, and his challenge was answered by none other than Pete Dunne. Now you know what you're going to get with these two. They haven't got the greatest chemistry in the ring, but they've got a really good understanding of each other, and the spots were fairly entertaining. It was a really good opening 15 minutes of wrestling to kick off the show. In the end, Dunne got him in a bit of a sleeper hold on the second rope, and Dane just fell backwards, which I saw and thought, my God, that poor man's testicles, but apparently he was okay. Dane then picked up the win for, I don't know, probably his biggest win on television in a while. Now, it is a strange one, this, for me, because Dane really did need a big momentum-gathering win. He felt very much like the other element in that triple threat at War Games, but I'm not sure throwing Dunne to him was really the right call with this. Like, it's a good win for Dane, yes, absolutely, but Dunne had all this momentum coming out of Adam Cole at Survivor Series, so a bit of an odd one. Still, the match was good, and I don't know where they're going with this, and they did kind of protect Dunne by, like, him being a surprise thing and having a sore knee, etc., etc., so up. Next up was this Dakota Kai interview backstage, and can you call someone a hood rat? On a PG show, a hood rat on a PG show. Is that, I don't know if that's okay. Anyway, we move on from that, and Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era/Era, whatever you want to call them, they get in the ring, and I will say this now, Adam Cole on the mic is one of the very few unmissable parts of WWE's programming. He is their greatest orator at the moment, so this should have been brilliant, and yet it was one-upped by Keith Lee appearing and just saying that he was a gif. And you know why? It's because he just bounced him into the crowd, and it's gone all around the internet all week. It's been really, really funny, and it's very rare that I will watch a promo in wrestling and go, ha! That's what I would have said. We got a big brawl out of all of this. They attacked Keith Lee, and then Ciampa came out and it just kind of degenerated into this big old mess, and it was an up because it was exciting and it reminds you how strong the division is for that NXT Championship at the minute. But I am going to highlight one element of caution I think they need to have going forward. We know almost for definite we're going to get Cole versus Baszler versus Ciampa at some point in a big triple threat at presumably the next takeover, but the undisputed star, pun very much intended, in this segment was Keith Lee. It went out to his music. He got the biggest cheers. So they're building this title picture, and the person everybody wants in the title picture feels like they're just going to have to sit below it for months. So you're going to be careful with this. Aha! Now what did I say last week? That match is happening or announced or teased or something like that. They can have an immediate up from me, and if not, they're going to get an immediate down, and I'll come back to it and I'll reference it all then. Told you, up. Now, I would personally have had this be a title match, but I guess if you're only going to give them 5 minutes, then there's not really much point. And fair play to Xia Li, she really did look, in brief spells of this match, like she could genuinely hang with someone of Shayna Baszler's level in the very near future. But after she got all the stuff in, Baszler then just choked her out, as she likes to do. And it was another one of these squash matches, another one of these exhibitions for Baszler, where she really does put her opponent over in the process. So I loved it. It was an up. Wait, is it an up? Yeah, 2 ups. Yeah, because you got the up from last week, up from this week. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, we'll go with that. Next up, it's the Forgotten Sons. See, I remembered them this week, and they are facing the team of Adrian Alanis and Leon Ruff, or as they're collectively known, Skulk. That's dreadful. Tell you what else was absolutely dreadful, though. This match was dreadful. Now, I have turned around on the Forgotten Sons in recent weeks. I initially thought they were just a bit pointless, but now I actually do quite like them. But this squash was not what was necessary at all. All you're doing is going down the avenue of the assumption the audience is already making about them when you need to be improving them. Just gonna quickly read you out Forgotten Sons' record since NXT went to TV, right? They lost to Breezango, and then they won against Breezango, and it was 50-50. But then in the rubber match with Isaiah Swerve Scott, they lost in that one as well. And then they lost to the Viking Raiders. And then in the big Survivor Series elimination match, they were the first team eliminated in that as well. And now they've beaten Skulk. Whoop-de-f. They needed a credible win here, a credible win against an established team to really set themselves apart. Because right now, all that happens is they can win matches provided the match does not matter at all. If the match matters, they do not win it. And this match didn't matter, and lo and behold, they won. It's a down. Oh, my spirits, they lift. Dakota Kai comes out, and can we just take a moment, please, for her new entrance video? It's not some clever package, it's not some nice typeface, it's just her wailing on Tegan Nox over and over and over again while they pipe Nox's screams through the speakers. That is an immediate up, that is an immediate yellow jacket. She is the first person to hold on to this in the history of NXT ups and downs. And she'll continue to hold on to it until I see something better. But the match though, right, we thought we were getting Kai versus Ripley, which is a mouth-watering prospect, but in the end, Ripley comes out, cuts a slightly confusing promo, and her opponent is Mia Yim. And I thought, actually, do you know what? This is probably a better idea, because there's no way that we're going to have a clean finish with Kai winning against Ripley, so she could go over Yim instead, and that really helps solidify her heel turn. Yes, good idea. But that's not what they did. What we actually got after a few minutes in the ring was them two just brawling to the outside and Ripley being like, oh, well, I guess that's finished then, before Shayna Baszler's music came on and them two had a confrontation. No, bad, this is bad. No, you've got such a rich, interwoven, multi-layered women's division. Don't make everything about the title picture, I beg. This was Dakota Kai's segment. She's the most interesting character in that division after that heel turn, and she needed a big win to show that it wasn't all just talk, that she could hang in the ring as well, and they've not given us that. Yes, we're getting the rematch next week, but I'm here to grade this week, and on that basis, that is a down. And because I hate being negative on these things, I'm just going to bundle the whole thing into one down, because I really haven't got the heart to give it two. Letting Baszler and Ripley get their hands on each other now is also bad. You've got Duke versus Shafir. They can beat her up. You've just had the pair of them wrestle at War Games. They don't need another physical confrontation, yet you can have it all be talk. You can have it all be hype. You can make it a UFC, real sports kind of contest. But no, they've beaten each other up again. He's ruining it. Please, just build the anticipation. We know they hate each other. We've seen them fight. You've got all the little clips you need for your hype package. Just let them get in each other's faces. Anyway, title match, December 18th. That's another thing, a TV title defense. There's no way this title reign of Shayna Baszler ends anywhere other than a takeover show. Absolutely not going to happen. So, spunking your load on the Ripley feud this early for a TV match. It's one of those, right? Because I'm delighted that I'm going to get to watch that. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure it's going to be brilliant, but at the same time, just wait. So many other people you could have a wrestle. Anyway, moving on, Cassius Ohno. Yes, remember him. He appears and he lays out an open challenge to anybody from NXT. Now, the whole reason for this was because they were trying to promote Worlds Collide, which is going to be more into brand warfare. And Cassius Ohno is here representing NXT UK. Now, can you spot the obvious problem with that? Most people in that crowd, most people watching this show, probably just think he's on NXT and they don't know where he's been for a while. Hardly anybody comparatively watches NXT UK, so he's not really going to be associated with that brand. If only there was, say, I don't know, like a champion someone who represented that brand they could have had over, who's maybe been on before. I can't think. Oh wait, no, sorry, of course they can't have Walter on it, can they? Because they jobbed him out in 3 minutes at Survivor Series or whatever it was. Almost as if they don't give a shiny brass penny about that UK division, isn't it? Oh, anyway, in other news, another UK promotion shut down this week. Anyway, Matt Riddle answered the call. Yay, Matt Riddle, this makes things better. And they had a match. Great, we've seen the Ono versus Riddle match before. Sometimes it's squash, sometimes it's quite good. And we know exactly what we're going to get here. Similar to Dane and Dunn, we know these two can work together. And thus, that is what we got. And to be fair to Ono, he looked far more resilient in this match than he has done in previous occasions. But to be fair to Riddle, there was no way he wasn't going to beat Cassius Ono and beat him comprehensively. He got the floating bro and the bro Derek and all his big moves in, and then he pinned him. It was a good match, given good TV time, but again, you just brought somebody over from NXT UK and had them lose comprehensively. And not just anybody, by the way, someone who is by all accounts doing really well on that brand. Almost as if you don't care about it. Sorry if I seem a little bit salty about all this. We've just had another UK indie promotion shut down this week. Empire Wrestling in Middlesbrough, one of my favourites. But anyway, yeah, the match was fine. Give it an up. Fairly straightforward this next match though, because Kushida has returned and thus must look strong in his return match. But Raul Mendoza's had a bit of an up and down time of it, again pun intended, so we must avoid a squash. Somehow, wait, no, there we go. Cameron Grimes he's just fed him to the ramp. Yep, good start. Alright, yeah, so Grimes has also had a bit of an up and down time of it, so he badly needed to avoid a squash here, and pleased to report he did. Both men got all of their stuff in, but Kushida looked absolutely sensational before he finally tore him like a Zack Sabre Jr., didn't he? He got him in a big old knot for the 3 count, and Grimes was like, for like 10 minutes after the match, 3? It was 3? Was it 3, Jeff? 3, Jeff? 3, was it? Anyway, yes, I'm absolutely delighted Kushida is back because he's so good. But I take a quick look at that card and I'm just like, yeah, I don't really get where you fit in with all of this at the minute. Like, he's clearly a North American champion in waiting, but he might have to wait a very, very, very long time. Anyway, up. Main event time now, and the team of Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic, which are apparently collectively known as Monstars, yes, from Space Jam, teamed up with Tommaso Ciampa to take on the Undisputed Era. And oh boy, was this good. Dijakovic looked completely dominant in this match. He looked absolutely sensational, but of course got slightly overconfident, then got, what's the word I want here, picked on by the Undisputed Era, which included a really good spot where Roddy Strong walks into the ring and goes, "Bask in my glory, dork." Eventually though, Tommaso Ciampa got one of the spiciest hot tags I've seen in a while. On the Nando's scale, I'd say like medium, but loads and loads of medium. Too much, in fact. It's all burning the corners of your mouth. But then he got stopped with a high-low, down, whatever it's called, from Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And just to make matters even more confusing, then Finn Balor appears and he drop kicks Adam Cole into the corner, which caused a ref bump. Then he 1916s Tommaso Ciampa, and then he gets spirit bombed by Keith Lee. And we need to do a scientific investigation on this to explain how, when Keith Lee does his sit-out powerbomb, the person then goes back clean into the air. I actually reckon if you wanted to no-sell it, you could bounce out with that move and land on your feet. Anyway, after that, Adam Cole tries to get him with a big knee in the back of his head, but gets spirit bombed for his troubles. And oh my good God in heaven, Keith Lee has just pinned the NXT champion relatively clean. The man is on a hot streak to rival even Rhea Ripley at the minute. Now, obviously, this match gets a huge, ginormous, glorious Keith Lee shaped up, but what happened afterwards, I want to talk to you about. After the bell, William Regal comes out and doing his best bit of not making the authority figure segments about him the authority figure. God bless you. William says that next week, we're going to have a triple threat match to find the #1 contender for Adam Cole's NXT championship, and it's going to be Tommaso Ciampa, yep, fair enough, Finn Balor, alright, okay, and Keith Lee, as the crowd went absolutely wild at the inclusion of him in that match. Now, like I said before, he's clearly not going to be in the title picture going forward, so putting him in it now feels like a bit of a waste of his talent. I don't know what you can do with him afterwards, and again, the logic in here was a little bit lacking. Keith Lee pinned Adam Cole right then and there. Tommaso Ciampa pinned him at War Games. Why is Finn Balor in this? Is it because he dropped him last week because he's given him a drop kick in the back this week? Now, if I was being really picky, if I was the kind of guy I was, say, 12 months ago, then I would have said that's a down. But given that we're going to get Keith Lee versus Finn Balor versus Tommaso Ciampa on television next week, This is the bag. This is the bag that contains all the that I give about this not being written in a watertight manner. And let's just, shall we? Oh, would you look at that? It's absolutely empty. Oh, wait, no, sorry, hang on. There's a note. And before we go, there's just time for Ranallo Body Talks Like That, where I'm actually not going to point out that he said Killian is insane in the Dane or that Shayna Baszler has more game than Mortal Kombat. What I'm going to say is that no matter what your opinion is on the Mauro, Ranallo, Corey Graves situation, I think we can all agree, and indeed should all agree, that going after your colleague on social media when you know fine well they struggle with mental health issues is a dick move. Now, you might think that Ranallo was oversensitive about it. Well, I would say that he probably reads all the horrible stuff people write about him on social media every single week, and when it's somebody whose opinion you respect, somebody who you actually care about, i.e. one of your broadcasting partners, it probably affects you much, much worse than just some random on the internet. So what I will say is, whatever you think about it, be kind. I'm not even trying to do a bit of a soapbox here, just whatever you're on the internet, if you're writing something about anybody else, just read it back and think, do I sound like a dick here? Yes, maybe it's funny, but do I sound like a dick? And if you do, just consider whether or not you want to be a dick. It's that easy. But yes, on that note, those are all the ups and downs for this week's episode of NXT. I hope you had a good time, because I certainly did. Let me know what you made of it all in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. My God, the next 2 weeks look absolutely stacked, don't they? I'd hate to be a rival wrestling promotion in this sort of climate. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I've, of course, been Adam Clery. On Thursdays, we wear yellow. And I will see you soon. Goodbye.